Something serious is happening to the sun. Powerful flares and a hole in the Earth's electromagnetic field, scientists claim. What is going on? It's serious. The solar activity is serious. 10 flares on the X1 power the sun, and yet year has only just begun. According to the spaceweather.com, the sun is buzzing with activity again. This time, the source of activity was AR 3947, which produced 3 official X1 at this time, but there were actually 5 of them. Nothing terrible happened, of course, thank goodness, but yesterday was like this. The source was also field AR 3947, and the figures for December 30th to 31st. The source was also field AR 3947. So in less than a week, the sun produced 10 flares of X1 plus magnitude, or a little less than, and the AR 3947 is everywhere. The question arises, is this normal or not? It doesn't take a PhD in solar science to realize that this does not even fit the new rule. Particularly disturbing is the fact that you're projecting all this massive energy from one place. Therefore, the immediate future is completely incomprehensible. It's obvious, of course, that the flares now add up, and a cumulative effect will occur in geomagnetic storms. Will it actually explode or not? And if we are in a casino and we bet on field AR, the sunspot AR 3947, we would bet again, so we'll be watching developments. The scientists discovered a gap in the Earth's magnetosphere as well. NASA scientists recorded a unique natural phenomenon, a gap in rupture in the Earth's magnetic field that lasts 17 hours. Published in the journal Space Weather, this event is said to have started on December 25th, 2024, and that was, of course, Christmas Day, and was unprecedented in the history of observations. The anomaly, which was confirmed by astrophysicists and visually recorded in New Zealand, led to bright flashes of the aurora borealis, and photographer James Wilson, who observed the phenomenon, said he had never seen such brilliant northern lights in his 15 years of work. The sky was filled with emerald and purple hues. It was incredible, the publication said. Experts warned that such magnetic field interruptions could affect the operation of satellites and GPS, that's global positioning systems. The fact that is that changes in the behavior of the magnetic field can pave the way for the solar wind, which interrupts the operation of satellite navigation systems. However, this phenomenon is safe for human health. Scientists continue to monitor the state of magnetic field using modern monitoring systems and hope that further research will help to better understand the interaction of the sun and our Earth. It was previously reported that on the night of January 1st, 2025, New Year's Day, Earth was engulfed by a powerful magnetic storm. The day before, scientists warned of 2 powerful flares that occurred on the sun. Will Earth have a similar fate as Mars? Scientists warn in 2025, according to the Solar Astronomy Observatory, the sun enters an extremely unstable state, which can lead to a series of space storms and magnetic storms on Earth. Space weather. And according to experts' predictions, solar activity will reach a wartime level, which is much more dangerous than the usual solar maximum. In this period of time, giant coronal holes will be produced on the surface of the sun, which can cause extremely strong magnetic storms on our planet. Scientists have already observed similar phenomena in the past. One of these coronal holes in the sun, in their opinion, was the cause of the disappearance of the atmosphere of Mars. And now they are sounding the alarm warning of this year, 2025. In the year 2025, a storm-magnetic storm will cover the Earth January 1st, 2025, and according to predictions, the beginning of 2025 will be marked by an unusual natural phenomenon. What is X-class in the classification of solar flares, and why is it considered the maximum? Yesterday was marked by an event in the sun that will likely affect our well-being on New Year's Eve, they said. The solar flare occurred and it reached its maximum level, class X, which is the maximum level of energy released. This powerful emission, like giant blobs of energy, X-class flares headed towards Earth, reaching only in the night of December 31st. Now, weather-dependent people would prepare for a possible worsening of their condition this evening, they said. They can expect severe headaches and general malaise. Here are some recommendations on how you can prepare and minimize the negative effects of a magnetic storm. To prepare in advance, forecast monitoring, monitor space weather and geomagnetic activity forecasts to stay informed of upcoming events and prepare. Ensure proper sleep a few days before the expected magnetic storm. Try to maintain a sleep schedule and get enough sleep. Lack of sleep can worsen weather sensitivity symptoms. Diet. Watch your diet. Eat more fresh vegetables and fruits. Avoid heavy fatty foods and excessive caffeine and alcohol consumption. Moderate physical activity. Light exercise or walk in the fresh air can help improve blood circulation and overall well-being, but avoid vigorous exercise, as said. Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of clean water throughout the day. Regular medical checkups if you have frequent weather sensitivity problems. Consult a doctor for advice and possible examination. There may be underlying causes that need to be addressed. Avoid stress. Try to avoid stressful situations and learn relaxation techniques such as meditation or breathing exercises. And do not self-meditate. If your condition worsens significantly or is uncomfortable, seek medical attention. Remember that each person is unique and what works for one may not work for another. And listen to your body, find methods that work best for you. And 2025 comes with solar and magnetic storms. Never before have scientists predicted so many disasters in 2025. Severe floods, volcanoes, earthquakes are a small part of what scientists believe our planet will face in the near future. And they are predicting many global disasters that could happen in this year. There are mainly strong solar and magnetic storms. It's because 2025 marks the end of the 11-year cycle of solar activity, and NASA experts are also worried. They believe the sun has reached the peak of its 25-year sunspot activity. During such periods, volcanoes are activated on Earth. All known volcanic winters occurred during these years. For example, in 1816, the eruption of Mount Tambora caused abnormal weather conditions. Snow fell in Bavaria in the summer, and sheared sheep froze to death in the U.S. summer. If this happens in 2025, it could cause a serious blow to the economies of many countries. At least today, volcanologists are already observing the activation of the volcanoes Eyikumba in Alaska, Ana Krakatau in Indonesia, and Shevelucha in Kamchatka of Russia. American climatologists from Virginia Tech, Leonard Ohanen and Manor Chair Shirazi, predict that 2025 will be exceptionally warm, even despite the weakening of El Nino. This will have an impact on the melting of glaciers and water levels in the world ocean. 32 cities may be at risk of flooding, including Boston, New York, Atlantic City, and Miami, and it can also cover some areas in the Himalayas, India, China, and Peru. In addition, experts predict an increase in the extent of forest fires. A warm year can bring problems in the US, Spain, Canada, France, and Russia. Hurricanes will rage in the Atlantic from June to November. Scientists predict at least 20 powerful storms. They will have a significant impact on the lives of people in the United States, Mexico, Spain, China, Vietnam, and India. The Black Sea coast and the cities of North Caucasus are also at risk. According to the WHO, climate change is the greatest health threat humanity will face in the 21st century. Between 2030 and 2050, climate change could cause up to 250,000 deaths per year, they said, and these are not abstract facts about events on some other continent. Climate change in Russia is happening faster than anywhere else in the world. Heavy rainfall and sharp temperature gradients lead to floods and hurricanes, droughts, forest fires, phenomena that did not exist before, says Anton Klinov, a member of the Committee on Environmental Well-Being at OPRF. All these natural anomalies will inevitably lead to the resettlement of peoples. According to Roshi Dromet forecasts, by the middle of the 21st century, climate change will force about 200 million people to change their place of residence. We asked ecologist Ruslan Kvostov this question. This will be primarily due to the shallowing of rivers and the reduction of freshwater reserves. Resettlement of people will become inevitable in the future. The race for resources will begin, and the scarcest of them will be fresh water. Wars will break out because of this. The quality of life of the majority of the world's population will be significantly reduced. SP asks, the drying up of rivers in Russia has already become a sad reality. What is this concern connected to? And the answer, this is consequence of deforestation. When there are fewer forests, the area around them turn into a desert. After all, forests are a natural pump that draws moisture deep into the continent. If this process is disrupted, there will be less moisture. The flow of rivers and lakes will be disrupted. There will be less water in them. They will dry up, the expert concluded. There are already gloomy predictions that Kaliningrad could go underwater and Moscow will turn into a desert. What other physical changes will await Russia in the near future? We addressed the question to Anton Klinov, a member of the Committee on Environmental Well-Being at OPRF. Let's start from the capital. According to ecologists, the climate of Moscow has long approached the climate of the steppe. Forests and trees in general are less and less. The ruthless use of land in Moscow and the Moscow region for development is comparable to desertification in the dry steppes. SP asks, lately there has been a lot of talk about global warming. Is this good or bad? And the answer, if the heat is good for the ripening of apricots, then drought is bad for cereals. In addition, hail, flood, and temperature changes are not always favorable for crops in the middle zone. That is, warming can bring negative consequences for agriculture in Russia. And SP asks, the UN also warned of the threat of flooding due to climate change. Greenland's melting glaciers are already close to the point of no return, after which the ice sheet on the island will begin to disappear irreversibly. As a result, some countries may even go underwater. Will this affect Russia as well? And in relation to Russia, flooding mainly threatens the Kaliningrad region. As a result, the famous beaches in Kaliningrad may disappear. The rise in sea level is superimposed on the thawing of permafrost. According to scientists, rising sea levels could affect Murmansk, Arkhangelsk, and St. Petersburg. At the same time, scientists note that climate risks in Russia have been poorly studied, an equally dangerous process of the drying up of rivers and seas. First of all, this concerns the Caspian Sea, where oil and natural gas are actively produced. And SP asks, how can all these natural anomalies affect people's health? Children and the elderly suffer the most from climate change. Deaths related to extremely high temperatures among people over the age of 65 have increased by nearly 70% over the past 20 years. SP asks, is this still somehow possible, if not to prevent, at least to minimize all these negative natural phenomena? And the scientist answers, first of all, it's necessary to stop deforestation because forests absorb most of the harmful emission in the atmosphere. It's also necessary to switch to green and renewable energy sources, and they have to start small. After all, our houses are often heated until mid-May, when the air temperature already exceeds 20 degrees outside. More solar energy is needed, as well as wind, geothermal, and small power plants. The new year 2025 began with magnetic storms. For several days, geomagnetic explosions of reproductive activity have not stopped on Earth, and according to scientists' predictions, the magnetosphere is not going to calm down. A magnetic storm will occur January 5th, that was 2 days ago, according to the Solar Astronomy Laboratory. A red level magnetic storm to begin on the morning of January 5th at approximately 6 in the morning, geomagnetic activity to increase sharply to 5 units of the K index. All the same, scientists estimate the probability of magnetic storm at 40% and the probability of a strong magnetic storm at 15%. In January, according to preliminary forecasts, several more magnetic storms will hit the Earth. On January 10 and 16, scientists expect an increase in the excitation of the magnetosphere, and from the 27th to 28th, the level of geomagnetic activity will again turn red. However, the forecast is subject to change. Therefore, weather-dependent people who suffer from magnetic storms should better monitor the forecast for the next few days in order to be aware of possible geomagnetic activity. Who suffers most often from magnetic storms? Usually, health problems due to magnetic storms occur in people over 50 who suffer from heart problems, blood pressure, and other chronic conditions. The main symptoms include general malaise, headaches, concentration problems, and insomnia. Doctors and scientists have not reached a common conclusion about exactly how geomagnetic activity affects the human body. Therefore, in order to reduce the impact of magnetic storms on well-being, experts advise improving the general tone of the body, and this will help reduce the impact of external factors on well-being. And to do this, you have to follow the simple rules. Don't overwork and sleep regularly enough. Eat regularly with variety, adding healthy foods rich in vitamins and minerals to your diet. Drink plenty of clean water. Participate in any physical activity regularly. Spend more time in the fresh air. These simple rules will help you feel better and cope with magnetic storms more easily. However, if sun flares continue to cause headaches or trouble sleeping, it's best to go to the hospital. Weather dependence may indicate an undiagnosed illness. And this is from North Observer URA News. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.